Like the lumbering robotic beasts that patrol its world, conquering Horizon Zero Dawn is a massive undertaking. And while it does a pretty good job of teaching you the basic controls, it doesn't fully explain trading, combat, or those little perks that end up being quite handy. So here are the 12 hidden mechanics Horizon never tells you about. Pay attention to icons. If a robot doesn't have a question mark or exclamation mark above its head, it hasn't seen you. This isn't immediately obvious, so while they started fighting something else, we used to stupidly come out of stealth mode and then get noticed. You can still stealth kill an enemy while they're in yellow alert, but once it turns red, find somewhere to hide. Sometimes if a few enemies are close together, you can take advantage of their alert status and proximity to string multiple silent strikes together before they notice. Enemies will drop tons of loot when you take them out. While some of it is more valuable or helpful than others, you should always try and grab everything you can and craft it into useful items. Don't forget to shoot boars, foxes, raccoons, rabbits and turkeys as well, and gather every herb that you find. If you do this, you'll never have to buy potions or bombs from the merchants. Plus you can use the animal skins and their meat to upgrade your carry capacity, letting you hold more stuff. Eventually you'll reach a point where you just have too much crap in your pockets, but get into the habit of picking up everything now and it will certainly save you time later. Use Override to get a friend in battle. After completing the Proving and voyaging through your first cauldron, you'll earn the Override ability, which lets you hack into robots and temporarily turn them into your ally. Sneaking up and overriding a robot is a great way to do some extra damage on the battlefield, as overridden robots will attack other machines. You can also override chargers or striders and then mount them for some handy transportation. Eventually you'll find more cauldrons, big high-tech dungeons, that will unlock additional override commands, so you can even control bigger creatures. Keep an eye out for these little blue upside-down Vs on your map, but be warned, they're sometimes gruelingly difficult, so prepare yourself before heading in. Buy maps from the first vendor you meet. The first merchant you'll find after finishing the Proving will let you buy maps which show you the general location of the game's collectibles: vessels, metal flowers, Banuk figures and vantage points. Finding most of the collectibles is pretty straightforward. Simply wander to the area outlined on your map, turn on your focus and look for a glowing purple streak which will lead you to a pile of ancient debris. Ransacking it will usually bring up whatever you're looking for. Vantage points, however, will have you scanning cliff faces and ruins to find a path to climb up. Once you get to the large city of Meridian, you can turn in sets of these collectibles for special treasure chests. The maps are cheap and very useful, so you'd be silly not to grab them. Make Lure and Silent Strike your first two skills. These two skills are vital in the early going. Silent Strike will let you sneak up on smaller robots like Watchers and Grazers and let you instantly kill them as long as they're not alerted to your presence. Combined with the Lure skill, you'll be able to whistle and call the closest machine to wherever you're hiding, meaning you can pick off a pack of enemies without getting your hands too dirty. Merchants have cool stuff. In Horizon you won't typically find weapons in treasure chests or out in quests. It does happen sometimes, but it's rare, which means you'll want to buy them from vendors. Vendors within a single region tend to have a lot of the same stuff, but once you head to a new area, be sure to check their wares and pick up some new weapons or armour. It's wise to have at least one type of each weapon: ropecasters to tie robots down, slings to chuck bombs, etc, etc. But it's also worth upgrading to a better weapon ASAP, so you can be ready for the higher level enemies you'll undoubtedly meet. Items marked with selling for metal shards are safe. Many of the resources you snag can be used to craft items, and some can even be traded in along with some metal shards, Horizon's currency, for more powerful items. However, there are some items in your inventory, often ancient relics, that are marked solely with selling for metal shards. If that's the only listing they had in the used for column, you can sell these without worrying that you might need them later. Everything else can be combined to craft items, traps or sold to vendors, so think twice before you sell these bits off. Traps and rolling. Use them during boss fights or fighting a high level creature and plan ahead accordingly. You won't be able to take on a Sawtooth or Bellowback with your bow alone, especially in the opening hours of Horizon. Keep moving during the boss battles and use your roll. A lot of them have charging attacks, so you're going to have to get good at dodging and then shooting afterwards. Status effects. Many enemies are susceptible to fire, ice, shock, and other status effects, but it's not enough to just hit them once with these abilities. Doing so will cause a circular meter to appear above their heads with the respective element. But in order to do real damage to them, you'll have to keep hitting them with the same attack until the meter fills all the way up. You'll know you've done the trick when the meter gets a white outline, which slowly depletes as the effect wears off. Or you can just fire at the blaze or freeze canisters on their body until it blows up. That usually does a pretty good job as well. Merchants have free stuff. This might sound too good to be true, but the first time you stumble upon a merchant, don't be in too much of a rush to buy every resource you're lacking. Every single vendor you come across will give you a free treasure box, just for taking the time to say hi. Scroll down to the treasure boxes tab and you'll get a completely free, there's honestly no catch, box full of resources. The content is randomly generated, but it helps to give you a little boost in terms of the things you'll need for crafting, selling, or just hoarding. Occasionally though, you'll luck into some mods or other goodies. Just don't forget to claim it and open it before actually spending your shards on anything else. Always be tagging. It's not a hidden mechanic, but focus is the most invaluable tool in your arsenal. Tapping R3 will bring up a glowing purple sphere around you, which will allow you to tag enemies and keep track of them when you turn off your focus. Your focus can see through walls, track the patrols of certain enemies, and has a pretty ridiculous range on it. So whenever you get to an area with tons of enemies, take a few seconds to turn on your focus and tag every single purple outline you see. Scanning enemies with their various highlighted components with your focus will also tell you what elements they're weak against. Basically, always be popping tags. How to fast travel. Shards alone won't be enough to buy a fast travel kit from a merchant. You'll also need some rich meat on hand as well. You can get rich meat by hunting foxes, raccoons, boars, geese, rabbits or turkeys, which you can find out in the wild. And here's how fast travel actually works. Instead of zipping to and from settlements, you can only fast travel to campfires you've discovered, i.e. sprinted past on your jaunts around the world. Discovered campfires will be green on your world map, whereas undiscovered ones will be white. A fast travel pack will cost you 2 shards, 1 piece of rich meat, and 15 pieces of ridgewood. You can only use this type of fast travel pack once, however, but there's no limit to the distance you can travel. Alternatively, you can buy a golden fast travel pack from a merchant for unlimited travel. This will cost you 50 shards, 1 fox skin, and 10 pieces of fatty meat. Hopefully that's made everything a bit clearer for you, but if you have any questions or want to offer some more tips to help your fellow players, then comment below. Check out more videos from us by clicking on the boxes to the left, and don't forget to hit that big button in the middle to subscribe for more gaming news, reviews, previews and features right here on GameTradar Plus.